Good evening and welcome to Asaase Business PM with me, Kevin Annan. I'm with my co-host,
Rosemary, Balami.
Tonight on the SDG-Hub, we'll discuss the topic single-use plastic ban, the role of community cleanup ahead of the World Environment Day 2024. And to discuss this, we have with us Heneba Sarfo, who's the founder of the Buz Stop Boys. We also have with us Gloria, Agyare, Programs Officer at Ghana Youth Environmental Movement, GEM, and Michael Ackon, Board Chair, Young Reporters for the Environment. Business PM is brought to you in partnership with the Center for Sustainable Transformation, CeST. Good evening once again. If you just tuned in, you are listening to the SDG-Hub here on Asaase Radio, and you are welcome to another episode of our weekly program, the SDG-Hub, as I mentioned, your go-to platform for in-depth conversations on pressing global and sustainable development goals, run by the Center for Sustainable Transformation, CeST, here on Asaase Radio. As usual, I'm your host, Kevin Annan, and I'm with my co-host,
Rosemary, Balami.
She's from the Young Reporters for the Environment, YRE Ghana, a program under CeST. As we approach World Environment Day on 5th June 2024, the spotlight is on the urgent need to address the plastic pollution crisis. Single-use plastics in particular have become a major environmental villain, choking our oceans, waterways, and landscapes. But there is hope. Community cleanups are sprouting up everywhere, bringing people together to take action and make a difference. Today, we are exploring the crucial role that community cleanups play in the fight against single-use plastics and the journey towards a plastic-free future.
Absolutely, Kevin. We are excited to hear experiences from organizations and individuals that champion these cleanups and discuss the power of community, cleanups in driving change. As we know, single-use plastics are a huge problem, but by working together, we can make a real difference. Let's dive in and explore some of the amazing work being done by community groups and individuals right here in Ghana.
Yes, so in a couple of minutes, we'll go into the impact of community-led initiatives, the challenges they face, and the inspiring stories of individuals and groups making a real difference. Our guests today are passionate environmentalists and community cleanup organizers, and so we'll dive in and discover how we can be part of the solution. As I mentioned earlier, we're glad to be joined in the studio by Heneba Sarfo, founder of the Buz Stop Boys, Gloria Agyare, who's a programs officer at Ghana Youth Environmental Movement, GEM, and Michael Ackon, board chair of the Young Reporters for the Environment, YRE. So, gentlemen and lady, or lady and gentlemen.
Lady and gentlemen.
You're welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's good to have all of you here tonight. Gloria, who is a regular here, she needs no introduction. So we are going to start with Heneba, and then Michael, and then Gloria. Kindly give us a brief introduction of yourself, what you do, and what your work is about before we go into the main discussion. And then after that, we'll come to Michael.
Okay, thank you, and good evening to your listeners and everybody that is a fan of Asaase Radio.
Yeah.
My name is Heneba Sarfo, and I'm a civil engineer by practice, and I also double as the founder and the leader of the Buz Stop Boys. What we do specifically with Buz Stop Boys is using action to send message to the general masses to revive the spirit of Ghanaian in everybody. That we should cast our minds back in the 90s, where Ghanaians who could rise and fix their own problems without waiting for anybody. In as much as modernization is important, we are saying we cannot be modernized and leave behind the good things in our history. So all we are trying to do is to just send a message back to every Ghanaian to remember volunteerism is what built every individual community we are living in today.
All right. Thank you very much. Michael?
Hi, my name is Michael Ackon, and I am a student at the University of Professional Studies in my final year, and I am also a communications consultant. I'm here today representing the Young Reporters for the Environment Ghana as their youth board chair. So what we do at YRE Ghana is that we use photography, news, and then stories and other mediums of communication to announce environmental issues and then talk about what the impact of our negative actions to the environment is causing us. So that is what I'm here for.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And finally, Gloria.
Well, In brief, my name is Gloria Agyare. I'm an environmentalist. Of course, I have strong interest in areas on food, climate, and nature, and I'm currently working for Ghana Youth Environmental Movement. I'm a staunch advocate against the use of plastics. Single-use plastics. So basically, that's why I'm here in the studio.
Thank you very much, Gloria. And so we'll start with the Buz Stop Boys. Kwadwo, so how did you get started, and what drives your passion for community cleanups? How did the Buz Stop Boys come into fruition? What brought the idea around?
Okay, so thank you. Growing up as a young man in Ghana, the only consistent message that I keep hearing as a boy was service to mankind is service to God. So I grew up with a mindset that whatever I need to do for God, I also need to do the same for man. So with the same mentality thinking, how then do we solve problems that does not directly have any impact on those of us involved in solving the problem, but then in the end give some sort of safety to somebody or every road user. So that there's that feeling that pushes us as Buz Stop Boys. So specifically, like this statement comes from my grandfather, who happens to be Apostle Dr. Sarfo, Engineer Sarfo. Oh. So this is exactly what pushed me to the edge and be like, I've been a Ghanaian all my life, and yes.
Interesting.
And it's funny that every year in and out we quarrel around and talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
When everybody, whether in leadership or as a citizen, we all know what exactly the problem is. And until we upfront the problems and stop being nice, we will only keep talking about the same old thing year in and out. So we said enough. In the next 20, 30 years, we are going to be at the peril of whatever is happening today. So we are saying that as youth of this country, we just remember the youth anthem that mandates us to arise for our country.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we are doing, and that is the push. For us, this is our service to our country. And then, yes, it's everything to be, or to remember service, or there's one keyword I'm trying to recall. Honesty, like, what's the word? The word is not coming, but I hope it comes.
Maybe later.
Yeah,
later. All I'm trying to say is that everybody should take pride in doing something for the nation's development.
Okay.
And when we lose that pride as a people, that is when we begin to say, but I'm not in leadership, so I care less.
Yeah.
But then we are quick to forget that whether you are in leadership or not, whether you drive Benz or Trotro, when the road is bad, everybody will park. When it gets flat to a point where no vehicle goes in and out, we are all stuck at one point of the road. So we are saying that it is only when we all rise and remember our history as Africans, as Ghanaians, then we can remember who we truly are. That we are the people who solve problems just by get involving one or two communities, and then a big problem is solved.
So effectively, we should all take responsibility for
even
how the country goes.
Yes, even if you cannot get into the gutters with us, and you have what it takes to just get a few boys in your hood, just give them the motivation.
Okay.
Let them keep doing what we are doing, because in the past 67 years as a people, we are waiting for, let's say, 1% of the masses to do or solve the problem for all of us, which is impossible. So we are saying that as citizens, we form the majority. So if we citizens will upfront problems and start solving them, definitely will make some huge impact, more than leaving 1% to be in charge.
Okay, thank you, Kwadwo. But how long has Buz Stop Boys been running? How old are you?
Yes, on social media, we'll be 1 year in July.
Okay, and have you seen any impact in the local communities you've been working in since you started?
Yes.
Has anything changed?
Yes. I've seen a lot of people now, when talking about plastics, they don't throw the whole plastic in their bins no more. They compress it in such a way that it will be much smaller. Even if you are moving around town, you can compress it in such a way that you can pocket it or put it in your bag and send it home.
So you'd say the message is entering their heads?
Yes. I believe if all of us should put our weight behind this message, where everybody that has a platform will just use a minute of his or her time to speak to the public and say, hey, forget about who you think would clean what. We must all fix this problem. So if you cannot get into the gutters, don't throw your litter anyhow.
All right.
Indeed. So, Kwadwo, back to you again. One other focus of today's episode is single-use plastics and also calling for the ban. So, how does your community cleanups contribute to this larger goal of reducing single-use plastics?
It is one of the major factors when it comes to choked gutters, which is causing the floods in our country.
Yeah.
So we, over the few months that we started, we are going around basic schools, even in trotros, speaking to market women and stuff, telling them that if we don't start changing how we are doing things, we will be consumed one day by plastics. Because by far nobody can survive the whole day without eating. And then if whatever it is we are eating that is making us feel life is very comfortable is coming from the environment. So if we end up throwing plastics everywhere, they'll get to a point where you put a maize or a corn down there and it lands on the plastic. So we are not going to get any food to eat. All of us are going to starve. And they're starving to bring some sort of misunderstanding and chaos in our community.
Indeed.
So we are truly and also doing our best to let the people understand. I believe it's lack of information sometimes, because you hardly see any ad or any somebody telling somebody about the need not to litter the environment. And I believe human beings is less like cooking. If you don't go back and check what is happening, you might go and the whole thing is messed up. So we must revisit the educational part of educating people, and it's a good step.
Indeed. Thank you, Kwadwo. Let me come to you, Gloria and Michael. So your organization are collaborating on a campaign against single-use plastics. Although you've been here on the show to discuss this, it is important to also highlight it, especially for those that missed that episode. So can you share with us some of the major challenges Ghana faces with single-use plastics, why this is crucial, and why is there a pressing need for a ban? Let me start with you, Gloria.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosemary, for this important question. I think sometimes we have the habit of forgetting, in Ghana here, when things happen, it just happens, people start crying and then we forget about it. But then let's take a keen look. I don't want to go so far. Let's take a keen look at recent happenings where we have the rains coming down a lot, and you can see that within the shortest period of time, our roads are flooded, cars cannot go, you get home so late. Some of these things, we overlook it, but it's actually the impact of single-use plastics. If you go down there, the little drains we have a really poor drainage system. I mean, following conversations about Accra's structure and all of that, the layout. And with these small drains too that we have, what we are seeing is that they are already choked. Our sanitation is really poor now. It's terrible now in Ghana. So these single-use plastics have choked the gutters, not allowing water to flow. So looking at some of these things, if we continue to allow this to happen, in the next couple of years, we may not even be able to access our roads. And that means no access to food, no access to basic needs.
That's quite worrying,
Yeah, that's a disturbing thing. So I will not go far. This is even one common thing for us to know that this is an urgent issue and it's a major challenge and we need to tackle it.
Indeed. How about you, Michael?
Yeah, so just as Gloria has mentioned, I would like to reiterate that yes, we need a ban on single-use plastics. Why? Because it has so many detrimental effects on our lives and in the society at large. And so you can mention of flooding, you can mention of pollution, and then my brother here mentioned that it will get to a point that you plant a tree or any fruit or anything, and then it will land on a plastic and it cannot grow, which will eventually lead to hunger. And those are all avenues or challenges that we should start looking at and planning ahead. Banning single-use plastics is the way to go.
The way to go.
Yeah,
and you see it to be possible for Ghana?
Yes, with time. Yes,
okay.
And with what we are doing mainly is through public awareness and then delivering information to people on the effects of it and then how we can curb it.
Indeed. So Gloria, back to you. The Ghana Youth Environmental Movement has been a strong advocate for policy changes. Are there any steps you've taken or yet to take to push for the ban on single-use plastics at the governmental level?
Okay, thank you very much. That's an important question. First of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that when we started this campaign in 2021, we've already known, since that time till date, that this is a legislative work, okay, because we are pushing for a policy. However, at GEM, one of the things we believe, or at Ghana Youth Environmental Movement, one of the things we believe is a bottom-up approach. So what we've done so far is to do a lot of community engagement, in the sense that we don't want to just go and then submit a proposal, a petition to Parliament. we just go knock the door and then come back again. But now we want to go knock the door with the voices of the masses. I mean, citizens at the grassroots, championing what we believe in, that we need a ban, so that when we go in there and we knock the doors of government, we go in and enter. We are even given a seat to talk more about the issue. You know, so for us, we've done a lot of community engagement when it comes to online awareness creation or advocacy, building a strong coalition with organizations like YRE, Reusable Bag GH. We've also engaged a lot of sustainable businesses producing sustainable alternatives to single-use plastics. We've also brought in even EPA to sensitize people on single-use plastics. All of these efforts is just to gather enough data, enough research, and information to back this agenda. Then when we enter into that room and we want to engage government will have no choice than to say yes to us.
Listen to you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Gloria. Back to you, Kwadwo. So what are some of the challenges that you faced while, going about your work as Buz Stop Boys, and how have you overcome them? Because I assume there have been challenges.
Yeah, sure. Most definitely, there is a big challenge in everything that we do. And then the word is back, nationalism. I think the major reason why, or one of our biggest challenge we are facing as a people, because the pivot or the center of our message is a change of mindset. That is the sustainable solution for a sustainable environment. And then we realize that the Ghanaian has lost that sense of nationalism. Back in the days when somebody could say, yes, just for the fact that it is for Ghana, I am willing to go all out and make sure it is safeguarded in the name of Ghana. But then now we have lost it all to an extent that nobody is even proud of being a Ghanaian. A lot of us are not even proud of being a Ghanaian. And it is the only reason why you leave Ghana in a mess, go to the United States, take a selfie, take videos, and come and show me. I feel like that is not life. Because if you cannot show me the beauty in your room, don't tell me about somebody else's room.
Wow.
So that's a mindset that we need to change. And start telling people that, before I talk about the beauty of America, I should be talking some nice places in Ghana too as well. But then we are quick to go and see or bring pictures of how flooded Dubai is, and they begin to compare. No, we are two different countries with two different backgrounds and culture. So if we can revisit the past and look at that, good things in the Ghanaian culture and brand them or put a lot of emphasis on them, it is going to help us very, very much in sustaining the environment. And it's cut across, because we are talking about patriotism also here. It is only patriotism that will make you, outlook your 10% and look at the bigger picture to benefit the land and everybody in it. But without it, you might make clearly this is poisonous, but you will make it go through to your people, because then you think life is all about you. So when you begin to change the mindset that emphasis or places emphasis on collective good, then we'll make some good way.
So the biggest problem is the
mindset. That's the biggest
problem. Right. So in your work, what has been the experience with the local community while engaging with them? What has been the experience like so far?
Well, initially, most of them thought we are coming from the assemblies, and then they are quick to tell you, this is what you should have been doing long time. You are now the selling gutters. So when we engage them and tell them that, mommy or daddy or whoever you are, nobody has sent us. Our message is for you to start doing these things and forget about, because there's no way even your assemblyman, unless probably there's time for voting. If not, your assemblyman will not come to your area and say, because I'm the assemblyman, this gutter is choked, let me desal it. It's not happening. It will never happen. Not even to talk of president and the other executives. So you must rise up every day to make sure your environment is safe for you. Because when the flooding comes, he enters your room and he destroys your telly, not that of your assemblyman or your MP.
So they're buying into the
yes. So now,
and are they getting involved?
Yes.
Like, are they getting involved in the cleanups?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people now. The only problem is they take the sand out of the drains and put them on top of the roadside. And you can't blame them much, because probably what to transport it from the roadside to a better place is not there. So that is why, as part of placing a ban on single-use plastics, you must also look at how we resource every community for them to solve their own problems. So if, for example, there's a community vehicle that those volunteers who took the sand out could use to transport the sand from the roadside, definitely they are solving the bigger problem. So yes, the mindset is the problem, but small people are buying into the change.
That's good to hear. Back to you, Michael. So as a representative of YRE, the Young Reporters for the Environment, how does your organization contribute to raising awareness and educating the public about the dangers of single-use plastic?
All right, thank you so much for this question. So what we do mainly at YRE is environmental journalism. And now we have embarked on a project called the SDGs Drive, which we started or launched it in February. So we go to avenues of social interactions, go to schools. We've been to opportunities, is it OTTI?
OITI,
at East Legon, right? Yeah. And then we've also been to Soul Clinic International School. That was just last week. And so we engage some of these schools and other places where young people meet and other members of the public to tell them about the Sustainable Development Goals, all the 17 goals, but we show them practically how they can contribute to reducing some of these challenges that we face. And so with this in question, we talk about things like using water bottles and then other reusable materials. Yes. Apart from that, we also collaborate with other organizations like what we are doing with GEM, Ghana Youth Environmental Movement, to advocate for the ban on single-use plastics. We also organize events. We use social media and other platforms of the media a lot. So that is what we do as YRE.
And also, I believe the collaboration with GEM. To ban single-use plastics.
So I mentioned that as well. So we collaborate with other organizations like we are doing with GEM to ban single-use plastics in Ghana.
Great. So, Gloria, let me, I think there's one thing that we need to also discuss now. That is your partnership for the upcoming cleanup for World Environment Day. Yeah. Tell us more about the cleanup. When is it time, where and how people can get involved?
Thank you, Rosemary. The cleanup, which is a community cleanup action, is one that we believe is a step in the right direction. That is why, of course, if you remember, I said that we are taking a bottom-up approach to be able to tackle this challenge. And for this reason, we reached out to Buz Stop Boys, who are doing an amazing work. So on the 5th of June, World Environment Day, as an environmental movement, this is very strategic for us. This is very important for us to draw people, like the citizens' awareness on the issue of plastic pollution and what people or young people like Buz Stop Boys, GEM and YRE, we are doing together to address this challenge. We want people to come on board. It will be at La Paz. Our flyers will go around. So follow us on our social media platforms. Join us, raise awareness on single-use plastics. Come and endorse this campaign, and let's tell the government that we've seen enough and we know the impact of it. So we need to rally behind this. So that is what we are doing on the 5th of June, World Environment Day. Wow. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Gloria. Finally, before our time runs out, for each one of you, kindly share a message, right? What message do you have to share with our audience about the importance of addressing single-use plastics and the power of community cleanups? Very briefly. I start with you, Kwadwo, then we come to Michael and Gloria.
Okay, so there's a problem, and until that problem is approached with radical means, all of us are not safe. And then I will emphasize on all of us the more, because nobody makes, not just 2 or 3 people can never make a community. A community, go beyond 50, and you have it's a family. So if we, all of us, don't pay attention to what is it that we are talking about, this single-use plastics, if we are all changing even our mindset and say, hey, I am not going to drop my single-use plastic on the streets or in the gutters, that's a solution. But that not being possible, we are also calling on all of you to give us your support. Let's all reach out to the authorities. Let's place certain restrictions or complete ban on these single-use plastics, because we are talking about the collective good of all of us.
Yes.
We don't say because you are safe in the community, you are not going to listen to our call. Everybody must step in.
All right, thank you, Kwadwo. To you, Michael.
Right. So what I would tell my listeners here is that you should all have a listening ear. When it comes to you to advocate for some of these things, we expect that you give us the attention, the ear to hear the message that we have for you, because if you don't do that, in the next 10 years, that is by 2030, this earth will be inhabitable for all of us. But then if we take the necessary steps and actions, it is going to be a better place. And so we also need your participation. Come 5th June on World Environmental Day, early in the morning. We need you to turn out massively for us to embark on this project and all the others. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Gloria.
Finally, Gloria.
Right. So I just have one thing to say, and this comes from a quote I read a couple of weeks ago, that do not underestimate the power of a group of young people trying to address a challenge. And I want every Ghanaian out there, we cry for a better Ghana. It lies in our hands. We have the power to transform Ghana. So we need to stand for a better Ghana and ask for that from our leaders. So if there's anything I'm saying, I just want you to know that you have the power to build that better Ghana for our generation and the next generation as well. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Very inspiring.
There's just, very. Kevin, before we wrap up, quickly, can you tell us why the name Buz Stop Boys? Because if someone hears it for the first time, like, you only clean bus stops, so why that name?
Buz Stop Boys, because like I said, the focus is to be able to send a message to every Ghanaian and every inhabitant or everybody that lives on this planet. So we were looking at a name that will resonate with everybody. And by far, whether rich or poor, you know what it means to say Buz Stop. So this is a message that, hey,
I think I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is up. I'd like to thank Kwadwo, Michael, and Gloria once again for joining us today and sharing your insights and inspiring work. It's clear that community action and collaboration are vital in the fight against single-use plastics. Remember, every small action counts in the fight against single-use plastics. So join the movement, support community cleanups, and let's create a better future for all.
Absolutely. As we approach World Environment Day 2024, let's all take inspiration from these efforts and do our part to protect our planet. Remember, small actions can lead to big changes. So please tune in same time next week as we continue discussions on all things sustainable development right here on Asaase Radio 99.5 so that people and the planet can prosper. If you have any topic you want us to discuss, please share with us and shoot an email to sdghub@cestint.org. Remember, dear listeners, to keep raising your voices, keep advocating for change, and keep tuning into the SDG Hub for more insightful conversations. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep working towards a sustainable future.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for staying with us here on the SDG Hub here on Asaase Radio. We've been speaking with Heneba Kwadwo Sarfo, who's the founder of the Buz Stop Boys. We've also had Gloria Agyare, Programs Officer at Ghana Youth Environmental Movement, GEM, and Michael Ackon, Board Chair of the Young Reporters for the Environment. I've been your host, Kevin Annan, and I did this with my co-host,
Rosemary Balami.
Have a good evening.